Hello my lovelies. I just thought I would do a very quick journal flip through for you today. So this is my new junk journal. I haven't written anything in it yet, but I have finished making it and I think it might be my favourite one that I've made so far. So let's have a little look. This is just made out of a cereal box. So it's 2 cereal boxes and I've painted the cover using acrylic paint, and it's this like metallic shiny one which I really like. I think it gives it a lovely finish. If you're new here, by the way, hi, I'm Kaylee and I like to make junk journals, if you hadn't guessed from the title of this video. This is maybe the 4th one that I've made for myself, but I have made quite a few for other people as well. So yeah, it's really interesting for me to see how my style's changed, and that's why I like making these videos, to record what I was into at the time. So on the front cover I have added this picture and I love it. It reminded me of my children because there's a little boy and a little girl and they're picking flowers, and that is very much like my children out in the garden all the time. In the corners, let's see if it will focus, there you go, I have embossed this gold design. Some of them have turned out better than others, but this was the first time I've tried something like this. And it's a learning curve, isn't it? I'm really pleased with the way it looks, and especially from a distance. I think it looks really, really nice just to have the extra detail. And I have got gold corners on the corners just to match that embossing. I've also embossed on the spine, so you can see here on the top and the bottom there's like this swirly design, and I've just heat embossed those on. Like I say, I'm very new to this type of embossing, but I really enjoyed doing it, and it's definitely something that I think adds an extra something to my journal that I really enjoy. I've put these beads on the edge and I've gone quite chunky with them. So these were all from different bits of jewellery that I got from different charity shops, and I've just cut up like bracelets or necklaces, things that I found. And then there's just some letter beads as well, because I just thought you write in there. So like letters, I want it to be full of words. But yeah, so I've just tied those onto the edge, and those are attached with an eyelet, so I can easily add things on, take them off, adapt that as I use my journal and as I change my mind. So that's the front cover there that you can see. The spine, let me turn it this way so it will fit on the camera, and the back cover is just plain. This is the first journal that I've made for myself that I've hand painted, so that's something a little bit different, but like I say, I really enjoyed it. It was a longer process, but I think that the effect I've got at the end is something I'm really, really pleased with. Let me know what you think. On the inside cover I used this paper and I absolutely love it. This floral here with the butterflies and all the flowers just made me really happy. And then I've just sewn a pocket onto this first page. I do like to put a few bits in just to give me a starting point, but that doesn't mean that this is what's going to stay in this pocket. This is just a little Beetle Drive ticket, what do you call it, Beetle Drive card there. I've tried to keep the pages really eclectic and varied in here. I just picked papers that made me happy and went from there, so it's a real mismatch of joy in my opinion. Let me know what you think. So again, I've got these vintage illustrations from children's books. I like to get my children's books from car boot sales. There's a vintage emporium local to me which I love, but then there's also, you know, charity shops, things like that. So on the next page we've got a more neutral paper that just says love, and I've added in this page which is just a transparent page with some pressed flowers in. To make this, all I did was press the flowers. They were in my flower press for about 3 weeks, and then I've just laminated it and stuck it in with washi tape down the centre here. I've left it kind of rough around the edges because I like the way that looks. It's hard to show you with the light, but I do really love the way that these pressed flowers look when they've been laminated and added into the book. Let me know what you think. I thought it was just something a little bit different, and if you've got your writing behind here, obviously you can have the flower in front and then you can move it. I just thought that was a nice little bit of added interest in my journal. There are some coffee dyed pages. I love coffee dyed pages. I hate like stark white pages in my junk journals. So I always tend to coffee dye them. And then we've just got more like different florals. There's this bird pattern. I've tried to keep it really plain and minimal because I like to decorate as I go along. I don't like to start with it heavily decorated. I want somewhere to go with it and be creative with it. So that's why I've given myself just all of these different, like each page is so different, as like different starting points. And my plan is with this journal, usually I would work front to back. I'm not going to. I'm just going to open it up, find a page that I want to work on and work on that one. So that's going to be a different way of working for me, and I'm really excited to try that. I've got more illustrations here, and there's the other side of that page. I've kept the writing exposed. Obviously, once I start sticking things in, this will probably all get covered by collaging and pictures. But I liked the word surprises on the side. I thought that could be good for, you know, like birthday spreads, things like that. There's another pocket here, but I've not bothered to put anything in that one yet. And again, just more of the same. They're quite heavyweight, like papers. They're not card, but they are thick so that they'll be really sturdy when I add things in. I've got a mixture of things going the right way up and then illustrations coming out sideways. So I think it's just a little bit of a topsy-turvy mishmash of things that I liked. So for this page here, I've sewn this on as a pocket. So it's almost like a full page pocket. You can't really tell when you first look at it, but then you can actually, can you see there? You can open this up and put something inside. I loved that illustration. There was no way I was going to cut it down. I wanted it as the full thing. So yeah, more happy papers. There are different sized pages as well, just to keep a bit of interest, but I've tried to keep it so that it still feels bulked out, and it doesn't feel like too disjointed. Let me know if you think I've achieved that or not. I've got some doilies. Again, it's just a different paperweight, different texture, something of interest. I love this illustration here, this little girl playing in her playroom. I thought that was lovely. I love vintage children's book illustrations. They're just gorgeous. I often like gardening book illustrations too, but mainly in this journal, I kept it to children's books. There's another pocket there. And again, more coffee dye paper. You'll see it's the same sort of theme running through each signature. But I really like the colours of the pages I've got in here. I feel like they're all so different and yet they all sort of match together well. Let me know what you think. But this, I'm so excited to start working in this. I haven't finished my last journal yet, but I really cannot wait to get started on this one. It's a bit bigger than my last journal too, and I just think that that gives me a little bit more space to play with and get creative. I don't know. So here, this is white, but I feel like it's okay. It's got lines on it, and I will cover that up as I'm working in it. But most of the pages, as you can see, there's not a lot of stark white in there. Again, more illustrations. How cute is that? They just don't make books like they used to. Gosh, I'm getting old. So yeah, it's the same sort of themes. I've basically got some like bottom loading pockets, some top loading pockets, just to give me lots of different options so I can choose what I want to work on, and hopefully there will be something for every mood of journaling that I have. There's a lot of pages in this. I'm not sure exactly how many, but there are quite a lot. I've not counted them, and I'm not going to. There's the other side of that surprises, or it might just be another page from the same story. I'm not sure. But again, some of these illustrations I know I'll never be able to cover up, but I can always journal something related on the other side, and that's okay. But yeah, there we go, more coffee dyed. And yeah, what do you think? This is the back page here. It is very mismatched. It's not like very uniform, but I love it. The cover, like I say, is a cereal box, but it's pretty sturdy, and it holds up pretty well. It stands up nicely like this. And when I'm making my journals, I like to make it so that initially they are quite empty, so you can see that you can close this so that the front and back covers are almost touching, but by the time I've filled it up with things that I add in it, it will grow and grow and grow, and usually they end up about this big. I don't like it when my journals already start and they're like super wedged open and they don't lie flat. I like to start with it closing properly so that by the time I'm done, it's like a reasonable width to sit on my bookshelf. But yeah, oh, it's just like shoved it along there. Yeah, I've done the same type of binding as I usually do. I have been experimenting with different types of binding recently, and I've made a few notebooks with exposed binding, which I thought was really fun. But for a junk journal, I just think this is the sturdiest way to do it. I have got a tutorial about how I make my junk journals, which I'll link below, and I show how to do that sort of binding in it. But yeah, what do you think? It's a very different style for me, but I kind of think it's my favourite one yet. And do you know what? I'm not the sort of person that will usually say this, but I'm really proud of this one. I think it's my best one yet. So let me know, what do you think? Do you junk journal? What sort of style do you like? I've had fabric covers for the past couple of journals and altered books, so this is very different to go back to literally just painting a cereal box. But I wanted to go back to something a bit more simple, and I actually think it has ended up looking less simple and more elaborate because I have spent more time on the design and painting it and making it my own and adding, you know, just the added little extras with the embossing and the picture and the corners and the eyelet and the beads and all that jazz that goes along with it. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope if you junk journal it's given you some ideas. I'd love it if you share your own ideas in the comments. And yeah, give me a like and a comment if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.